There's an update on the AB5 law. If you remember our video on it, this bill basically forced musicians to be treated as employees or employers every time they play a show, hire the session musicians. Well, there's an update. Musicians to be exempt from California Gig Economy Assembly Bill 5, but apparently is nowhere near good enough. Let's take a look. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day and stay safe out there. Let me know how your quarantine is going. Leave the comments down below. Before we start, check the info box for my mixing courses on ProMix Academy, special discounts, offers, and free plugins in the link down below. And if you want to support the channel, access to exclusive content like members only chats, live streams, videos, and also mix consultations with me via Skype or email, click the join button down here, see all the perks to becoming a MixbusTv member. Let's get to the video. From a Variety article, musicians to be exempt from California Gig Economy Assembly Bill 5. I'll put a link to the first video on the AB5 law explaining why this affects all musicians, all professionals in the music industry down below. This is an update. Multiple music industry organizations announced today that an agreement has been reached with California Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez and Majority Leader Ian Calderon on pending amendments to California's Gig Economy Assembly Bill 5 that will provide relief to the majority of affected music professionals, including recording artists, musicians, composers, songwriters, and vocalists. Amendments will change prior language in AB5 that created obstacles for music professionals securing work. AB5 is largely aimed at gig economy, jobs such as ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft, and is designed to make it more difficult for such companies to classify workers as independent contractors rather than employees. So this law was aimed at that market but affected all musicians because of the way it was written. Assemblywoman Gonzalez introduced legislation in January to continue working on the issue affecting musicians in a variety of other industries, following the passage of AB5, which established a three-part ABC test for determining employment status. The new language has been agreed upon by the Recording Industry Association of America, among others like MAC, SCL, Independent Music Professional United, and many others, American Federation of Musicians. You can read them all in the article. According to the announcement, the language of the pending amendment states that most music professionals will once again be able to follow the Borrello test, which defines whether a person is an employer or not, to determine employment classification for both live performances and studio recordings. The language also specifically provides for unions to continue to organize the work of recording artists, musicians, singers, and others. Jordan Brumley of the board of the Music Artists Coalition led the negotiation on behalf of the music industry. Among other things, he says, by reclassifying our economy of independent contractors into employees, the law ran the risk of making an employer of every independent artist making music in their basement, which was exactly what I was saying in the first video, or garage band making ends meet to succeed in music. We kept the economy intact, but provided for any musician, recording artist, or vocalist who got paid less than minimum wage to be able to appeal to the state for compensation. And I think this is part of the problem with this change, with this exemption. I started reading the comments on this article and it doesn't look as good as they make it sound, apparently. So if you know more about this, please leave it in the comment down below. We are all interested in this and we are all together in it because it affects also mix engineer, mastering engineer, session musicians, everybody. This is awful for the thousands of independent musicians who take an occasional gig and for the organizations that occasionally hire union orchestras. In the first case, there are dozens of musicians who make less than $1,000 a year doing 1-3 gigs per se, a church who the church has to take on as employees. In the second, very small budget thin organization putting on a concert one a year have to hire 50 musicians as employees. I totally understand where this comment comes from, but at the same time, I think a law is by nature so broad that it's hard for it to take into account every single extremely specific scenario like this one. So again, if you read what the new exemption is in detail and you want to leave a comment down below, please do. Next comment, nowhere near the end, sorry, but giving a few musicians soloists an exempt ticket does not come close to victory. Look closely at the writing. If you are part of any paid ensemble, you are still subject to AB5, as it was enacted last September. So that means non-union orchestra musicians, ballet, musical theater, opera. There's no negotiation with American Federation of Musicians or Lorena Gonzalez. Complete repeal of this economic terrorism is the only solution. Please don't interpret this article as a victory. It's very interesting to read all the various reactions and comments to this exemption, which is definitely presented by Variety according to the title as a victory for musicians. But let's keep reading. The horrible bill is going to force May over 50s into poverty as their age, is going to keep companies from putting them on their books as the turn to less expensive younger contractors. They get double slammed as their age is what got them laid off and turned into contractors in the first place. The fact that the government can so overreach into anyone's right to exchange their work, creativity, talent, initiative, skill for an agreed upon fee is fundamentally a horrible thing in my mind. I definitely agree with this one. And also in this never seen before moment in history, there's a virus pandemic out there, the whole world is in quarantine. There's an image circulating about art, and I have it here, and it says, if you think artists are useless, try to spend your quarantine without music, books, poems, movies, and paintings. So this image is definitely something to think about, especially in a moment like this, when dealing with a law like AB5 that would limit dramatically the capability, the possibility for people to make music, to share their music. So another comment, I can't believe anyone would thank Lorena Gonzalez for anything. She obviously did not think this law through. To completely decimate the gig economy without thought to how it would affect millions of artists, musicians, or anyone else who would rather work on their terms as an independent contractor than for an employer, reveals the fact that she does not care about the people she represents. Another interesting back and forth in the comment, someone is thanking for this exemption. This seems to be an excellent resolution to the AB5 problem. And Jeff in reply says, Martha, this helps the recording industry and major act soloist. It is slamming the door on the musicians you need to hire for your community chorus. I presume an occasional orchestra. So there's more to this law and to this exemption for musicians than it seems. I didn't read this exemption and compare to the original law, so I'm not sure what categories of musicians or recording artists are affected and which one are not affected. Obviously, there are exceptions because they say some musicians and some other not, so I'll probably take a look at it. And of course, if you know something more, leave it in the comment down below. But I just wanted to update you guys on the AB5 law because that video was very popular. Many people followed it and many people commented. So there is an exceptions, apparently not good enough. Let me know what you know in the comment down below. I hope this video was useful. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, follow MixbusTv on Facebook and Instagram, subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.